All right, spinning. All right, we're good. It's open.
No one from CR is answering.
Oh no.
I wonder where the other link took people. Just nowhere, you think?
Yeah. Here, let me open up another browser and try to find it. It looked to me like it ended the live session, or kind of like it started and then stopped. That's what it looked like to me. So oh, it's so slow. I see us on there now. And then yesterday, and then next week, but I don't have the other one.
Okay. You approve my screen share?
Mm-hmm. So let's see here. What'd you say?
Texting with Kate.
Shoot. What if you click on that link, the original one, where does that take you?
Which original one?
The one that was on the website before.
I don't even know where I would find that right now. I'd have to go find it on the website.
Yeah.
Texting with Kate, 3 dots. She's responding.
Good.
This isn't good.
What'd you say?
Oh, Megan Wilrett and Kate report the old link is working. What do you want to do?
What do you mean it's working?
People are in there. We can't get to it, right?
I can, you know what we can do is maybe, let's see, if I end this broadcast, that wrecks that link again, I think. So.
Should we just tell them to go swap it? At this point, we're already 3 minutes late.
Yeah, I don't know. John just said he's seeing it. Like where is that link again? I don't think it's gonna work.
We can't get back to it.
But he's in there, so he could chat it in there. That's what we can do. He could chat the new one, right?
Wait, Katrina said, do not leave. Do not leave.
So what if we chat it to John?
No, just stay where we are, right?
Staying where we are. Are we having fun, Holly?
Yeah, we're having fun, Andrew.
Enjoyable?
Totally.
Should I just tell John to share the new link?
Yes, with whoever's there where he is.
And hold on a sec.
So will we start to see comments come in through here?
Yeah.
Andrew, some chats are coming in.
Yeah, I'm responding.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
People are watching. Hey, everybody. We're going to get started in just a second. We had a little bit of technical difficulty at the start here, so give us just a minute to get everyone transferred over to this live stream and we'll get going. I believe you need to stay here in the new link.
Yes. Thanks, Katrina's on it. I see a comment there. All right.
Should we get going, Andrew?
Yeah, it looks like it would be a good, looks like it. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us live on YouTube. We are going to basically give you some information about Bloomington Online School and then leave some time at the end for your questions. We apologize, we got going a little bit late here. We had a few technical difficulties, but hopefully everyone is in the right place and we're set to go. We do have members of our team monitoring the chat. So if you have questions or need anything, you can drop those into the chat. And as we go throughout the information session, you can drop information in the chat or drop questions in the chat, and those from our team will be monitoring that and gathering those questions. All right, so again, our objective is to give you some information and then give you some time to share your thoughts or your feedback or ask your questions. Just so we're all starting with the same information, this fall, families have two options when coming back to Bloomington Public Schools. Option one is going with the default district model. That model will come out hopefully in the next week or two here. We will hear from MDE and we will know whether we are starting the school year in Distance Learning 2.0, in the hybrid model, or in the traditional model. So that is option one, to just go back to school with the model that Bloomington chooses based on the input from MDE. Option two is our new option here in Bloomington that we are offering to families and students, and that is Bloomington Online School K-12. Bloomington Online School is a new option that we are offering to families in Bloomington, and it is an option that your family needs to apply for. So that application window opened on July 15th and will run through July 31st. And those are the family two options for the fall. So either option one, you go back default, whatever gets decided on that, or option two, you apply into Bloomington Online School. So we are going to talk a little bit more in this session specifically about that second option, Bloomington Online School. There's some information and some data we gathered that is pointing us in this direction of providing a fully online option. We surveyed our families in the fall, we surveyed our families last spring and our staff last spring, and those the data that came in was really pointing towards both families and staff wanting to have a fully online option. Additionally, we have been doing high school online for the last 3 years in Bloomington. And so we have a lot of current success with online school, and we've learned a lot in the last 3 years. So the reason we're really moving towards this online option in Bloomington, we've had past success with online. We know based on our data that there's a current demand for this model. And we also believe that Bloomington Online School has a lot of future opportunity for our families and our students. So I'm going to back up just 1 second. I think I got a little flustered at the beginning with our technical difficulties, and I did not introduce myself or my counterpart here. So I'm going to stop and do that before we move into our partner schools. So my name is Holly Skadsum, and I'm the Digital Learning Coordinator for Early Learning through Grade 5, and I'm overseeing the development of the K-5 online school. And I'm going to pass it to my coworker here to introduce himself.
I'm Andrew Rummel, and I'm the Digital Learning Coordinator for the secondary schools.
Perfect. All right. So now we'll talk a little bit about our partner schools. So we have decided to have each of the online schools at each level partner with a brick and mortar school in our district. Our partner schools offer us that touch point for families. So if your student's in the K-5 online school and you need something or you need to get into contact with someone, you would call Washburn Elementary. It also allows us to utilize some of the supports that exist in a brick and mortar school and allow those to be available to our students in the online setting. I know that Andrew Wilkins is probably on this call, but he will be able to maybe answer things in chat if we have some specific questions for him. But we are partnering with Andrew Wilkins, principal at Washburn Elementary at the K-5 level.
At the middle school level, we're partnering with Valley View Middle School with Principal Megan Wilrett and Assistant Principal Ashley Modrow. And at the high school, we're partnering with both high schools, so Kennedy High School and Jefferson High School.
This graphic provides a nice overview of what our program, our Bloomington Online School program, offers. And things that we want to point out is that it will be BPS teachers teaching in our online school, and it will be BPS standards and content, as well as BPS supports. Our courses and our content that we're developing this summer, we're looking at interactive content. We're looking at a balance of on-screen and off-screen. We're also working with our teams to develop common templates and units across grade levels and across levels in general to provide a more consistent feel for students in the online program. At the elementary level, our learning management system will be Seesaw, and at the secondary level, we'll be using Canvas. And this summer, our teachers are working really, really hard to create and curate the content that will be delivered through those platforms this fall. I'm going to speak a little bit to the elementary level, and Andrew will chime in with the secondary level. One thing that we've been really deliberate about is making sure that even though we've been successful with online at high school, making sure that we think about the developmental needs of our K-5 students when we design elementary online. And so the 4 core components that have come out of our planning are listed here. First, we are really focused on making our curriculum and our instruction responsive to students. We know that when our students are not with us face-to-face, that the content we deliver and the instruction we deliver needs to be authentic to them. It needs to interest them. It needs to include them. And so that's something we're working on as we develop our curriculum this summer. We're also taking an interdisciplinary approach at the elementary level. So what that means is instead of teaching all of the subject areas in silos, we are integrating them all together into some really core essential units of study that have essential questions that our students are going to explore. Third, we're really, again, at the elementary level, being super intentional about the balance of off-screen and on-screen learning. So what that might look like for students in an online classroom at K-5 is families may be responsible for coming to Washburn once a month just to pick up those hands-on materials. Or if families are not able to come face-to-face for whatever reason, we would get those materials to students. And then lastly, at the K-5 level, we know that social skill development is huge and that students are building relationships, learning how to be friends, learning how to, interact with one another. And so we are purposefully building in that into our planning. Social emotional skills will be taught at every single level and integrated into our units. And there will be opportunities for our elementary students every single day to have some time face-to-face with each other and then face-to-face with their teacher in some different models. I believe next up I have the schedule of what a day will look like. I just saw that question pop in. So there will be a regularly scheduled morning meeting every single day. This will allow learners to connect, that social skill development, relationship building, and the peer-to-peer interaction. Although we don't have that specific time frame figured out now, it will likely be around that 9 a.m. time that we will have that launch every single day with elementary students. Then we'll move into some core academic instruction. So this will likely be arranged from anywhere to 1 to 2 hours of synchronous time throughout the day. And that may happen in whole group focused instruction. It could be small group guided instruction. It might be one-on-one with the teacher doing some conferring or conferencing, or it could be independent learning with support available. And so that core instruction again will be about 1 to 2 hours more of synchronous time. There'll be a midday break for lunch. And then we will also have specialist instruction once a day on a rotating schedule. So students will still have access to their music, art, and PE teachers and standards. I'm going to pass it off to Andrew to talk more about some of those core components at the secondary level and what those schedules may look like for students.
The secondary program has followed a similar pattern as the elementary program and or planning for the online school, and really came out with these. Our planning group came out with these 4 areas of really importance. So the desire to create an online school that is connected and collaborative. So that means collaboration between teachers and students, and students. A program that supports both academic and social emotional learning. And then program-wide guidelines and instructional practices. And then making sure that courses are, of course, standards aligned, engaging, and interactive. We are currently in the process of developing the middle school and high school schedules. Similar to the elementary program, we would be offering both synchronous and asynchronous learning throughout the day. It would look a little different, obviously, with multiple courses happening throughout the day, multiple teachers being involved as students are in middle school. And as in elementary, students have access to exploratories around music, art, phy-ed, and health. And at the high school level, again, the importance of building relationships and allowing students to connect. And also, of course, building online learning skills, strategies, and practices, and then offering a wide selection of courses for as far as the course offerings. Those course offerings, we're working through that process right now, and those will be posted soon. This summer, we have many teams at work designing this online school. We have a program advisory and a key partnership with the University of Minnesota. And then we are starting an online, we've been in the process of engaging in online parent feedback sessions. We have teams developing content and courses, and then we have work groups. So some key work groups at the secondary level are around how do we support students and families, what does solid online instructional practice and design look like, and course design look like, and then what guidelines and policies should an online program follow. Timeline from, well, last week until through the end of summer here, we have between July 15th and the 31st, we have an application window. So applications are coming in for the Bloomington Online School. July 20th to 24th, we have we're in the process of hiring K-8 Bloomington teachers for the online school. August 7th, all applicants will be notified of acceptance or waitlist status. August 11th, we have our first Bloomington Online School Family Advisory Meeting. And then August 17th to 24th, we have orientation and welcome back events. And then August 31st launches the Bloomington Online School. And then we have more information on our website.
So we are going to dive into some of the frequently asked questions before we get to our Q&A. These are questions we notice come up at almost all of the parent information sessions we've had thus far. And so we'll just get those answers out in the open, and then we can move into answering some of the questions that have been coming in through the chat or additional questions you might have. So the first frequently asked question is, can students transfer in and out of Bloomington Online School? And our answer to that is, we are looking, when a family applies to Bloomington Online School, that is your commitment that you are committing to Bloomington Online School. So we are looking for a year-long commitment from families. We believe that there is a lot of power in consistency, both for students and for teachers and the whole learning atmosphere. And so we're looking for a year-long commitment. That being said, if there is a situation in which a family needs to make a move for whatever reason that may be, we will rely on our current inter-district transfer policy to transfer a student out of Bloomington Online School back to a different school.
Are students with IEPs and 504s eligible to apply for the Bloomington Online School? Absolutely. And we have a process in place where as students enroll in the online school, we work with the special education department in order to really have key conversations happen between our special education staff and families, thinking through the way that services would be provided in an online context and how that meets their child's needs.
If we enroll in Bloomington Online School, can we return to our current school or program? So this question comes up a lot for elementary if students are at Hillcrest or if your students are in a gifted and talented program. So the answer to this question is yes, because of the uncertain times and kind of all that's going on around us, we are going to allow students to return back to their programs or home schools for the 2021-2022 school year.
What is the anticipated capacity per grade level? The Bloomington Online School is being designed for K through eighth grade, one section per grade level, and our class sizes would match the traditional program.
Is there an equivalent to Dimensions Academy, Elements, and Nobel? Are acceleration and enrichment available, or are students held to learning only standards for their grade level? So I think Andrew and I can definitely both speak to that second question in the fact that we're designing all of our programs to be programs that do provide enrichment and do provide differentiation. Specifically, the elementary curriculum is built on standards, just as secondary is, and so we're looking at ways. Our teachers have been looking at standards below and above their grade level as they're designing the curriculum to provide for those enrichment options. In terms of the first question, we did meet with the GT department today, and there will be more information coming out about potential online options for the programs listed, I believe, on July 29th. Can you confirm that date, Andrew?
Yes, I believe that is correct date.
So there will be more information before the window closes. The window for applications closes on July 31st, and there will be more information about online options for Dimensions Academy, Elements, and Nobel on July 29th. All right, so those were our frequently asked questions, but I believe we are going to turn to our Katrina and John, who are monitoring the chat, or Katrina monitoring the chat, to let us know what are some additional questions we can answer. Or maybe, Andrew, we are supposed to be checking out those questions.
Yeah, I can scan back here and try to pick out some key questions here. So I see, let's see, we addressed the question around gifted and talented services as far as there will be more information out soon. Let's see here. There was a question around what does an elementary school day look like? I believe you provide that information. How will we make Seesaw more user-friendly?
Yeah, I can speak to that.
Through distance learning, yeah, go ahead.
I can speak to that. So Seesaw has made a tremendous amount of updates over the summer. They did a really nice job of listening to teacher and family feedback from distance learning, and they've basically created an option now in Seesaw for a much more streamlined platform. And so there will be less of students needing to leave Seesaw to go other places and more opportunities to embed the learning right within Seesaw. They've also improved some of the communication structures. And so we are pretty confident, based on our research and based on what our surrounding districts around Minnesota are doing, that Seesaw is the best platform for K-5 learners.
Thank you, Holly. There's a question here about if all students will accepted into the online school receive a Chromebook. And yes, we'll be providing our students with a device, and then also working with families to make sure that they have access to everything they need access to. Let's see, I think we answered that question about sections. Let's see, if we enroll our children in the online school and the district decides on 100% distance learning, can we back out of the online school, or are we locked in? Again, we are asking for that year-long commitment so that we can plan programming accordingly and really serve the needs of the families within the online program. Let's see, there's a question around kindergarten, Holly, around how you're picturing things for kindergarten.
Yeah, so we are still in, I would say, the development and research phase of kindergarten. But what we know is that social skill development is huge at kindergarten. So we can expect, when we look at that range of 1 to 2 hours of synchronous time, we can expect that to look more like 2 hours at that lower kindergarten level. And that's going to be a mix of a lot of different things. But we know that kindergartners are going to need a lot more support, especially at the beginning of the year, learning routines. So there will be a lot of modeling, and that will be a lot of time with teachers or with students to kind of learn those structures and routines. But I would at this point, I could definitely say that a lot more synchronous time than not at that kindergarten level.
All right, we have a couple other questions here. One, let's see. Regarding the application deadline, does that mean if we don't apply, online will not be an option? So that's a question around timeline. And then commitment to the online school. You know, the deadline will close on the 31st, and the online sections, course sections will be formed based on that enrollment. And you know, online learning could take place based on the model that exists within the traditional program, so traditional hybrid or distance learning. Let's see here. There's a question around the online program and supporting students socially. Holly, has your group been starting to grapple with that?
How does school support students that take online school socially?
Mm-hmm.
Can you clarify that question a little bit, Andrew?
I'm guessing is how will the online program meet the social needs of students as well as the academic needs?
Yeah, we're really excited to start that planning. Part of that will be waiting till we have our teachers on board. So those interviews are this week. But something we're really excited about doing is building that community online. And so thinking really creatively about all the ways that we build community face-to-face and figuring out what that looks like in an online space. So whether that be options for kids to get together to eat lunch, or ways that we build community in a grade level with families, and opportunities for kids to connect outside of school. We've got lots of ideas started, but when those teachers come on board, we'll really be digging in and coming up with some creative ways, especially at the beginning of the year, to build that social community.
There's a question here around commitment to the year-long program, and again, the process is there's an enrollment process at the on the 31st. Our enrollment window closes, and at that point, we'll be forming sections. There's a process for inter-district or inter-district changes within schools and programs, and those are the policies we looked at as far as switching to different programs for schools.
Andrew, was the question answered if we are not accepted due to capacity and we are not comfortable sending our children to school? What is the process then? Was that answered?
I don't know. I lost track. There were so many questions and responses. Megan and Katrina have been very busy answering questions there, so I lost track of that one.
Yeah, I do want to just answer that one. So, you know, the reason why we are planning for a one section school is because back when we kind of decided we were going to do this, we needed a starting place. And so not knowing numbers, not knowing needs, not knowing how many families would actually commit, we started with planning for a one section school. We are looking at numbers very closely as they come in, and although we are saying there will be a waiting list, and there will be, there's still, I believe, a lot of conversations to be had to answer that question that was left there about what happens if my child doesn't make it in. And so Bloomington is committed to figuring out what those options would be, and more information will definitely be coming, whether that be we try to open up more spots or whether it's some different options. But I do believe there's more planning in place to answer that question.
I see a question here. One, just on the program switching, we just want to make it clear again that we are working to provide more information, and so we will do that before the 31st or by the 31st. And at that point, we are looking for families to commit for the year. Again, that allows us to make the decisions we need to make and build the program really to best serve students and families. There's a question here around synchronized learning. So what is it? Does it mean face-to-face live learning with teacher and their peers, or recorded learning?
Yeah, so I can speak to elementary. Synchronized learning means a lot of different things. So it could mean a morning meeting where everybody's on board and you're meeting, or at the kindergarten and the primary levels, we're talking about maybe smaller groups for that happening. If anybody is a parent of a K or a 1 student, you may remember some of those Google Meets from last spring where all the kids got online and got super excited to see each other, and it got a little crazy. So we're working at ways to, some strategies to avoid that. And so it may be whole group at some points, but a lot of the times that synchronous time might be a small group. It might be a teacher one-on-one, or it might be, all right, it's time to work on our math paper, so get out your paper. I'm here in the background for what you need, but this is independent work time. And so synchronized time could be they're on the Google Meet, but there's no interaction happening, and it's just support that's there if they need it. So a lot of different ways that could look.
And at the secondary level, we're working closely with our University of Minnesota partner and really thinking through when is synchronous learning best for the instructional goals of the teacher, and then also when does asynchronous really work well, and trying to make really informed decisions around which model to use when, or which approach to use when. There was a question here. Let's see. I see Katrina answered that one, so we're good. We're good there. Are all the Bloomington online teachers going to be brand new teachers that are hired, or are any existing BPS teachers being moved to Bloomington Online School? Holly, do you want to speak to that one?
Sure. We did post these positions as teachers on special assignment positions. So in order to be a teacher on special assignment, you do have to be tenured in our district. And so these are not brand new teachers. These are teachers that have been in the district for at least, I believe, 3 years is how long it takes to get tenured. So they're teachers that have been in the district and have been teaching for at least 3, probably much longer than that, years. So that's the answer to that.
All right, I think we will take a few more questions if you want to chat them in, and otherwise we'll wrap up for the evening or afternoon.
I see Katrina put something. I see a lot of questions about what happens if we have more demand than one section. Mm-hmm. And I do think I spoke to that a little bit, but I think we are still trying to plan and figure that out. So we're looking at numbers as they come in, and we are daily having conversations about what that might look like if numbers go above that one section school. Would we expand the online school? Do we have the funding to do so? If we don't have the funding to do so, what would be the other options we would give families to provide a fully online option? So I would say more information to come.
All right, I'm seeing some questions specific to the process around enrollment. And so there's a question around what happens once enrollment reaches capacity and kind of the process from there. Holly, do you want to speak to that?
Can you repeat the question, Andrew?
Yeah, of course. So as far as enrollment process happens, what is the process for families? They enroll. If there are too many families than there are, or if there are more families than there are places, what is the process from there? Sure.
So I believe the enrollment window ends July 31st, and I believe we are extending. We will let families know. I think we'd have to go back to the timeline slide. Let me just pop back to that so that I don't give the wrong information. Right. All applicants are notified of their acceptance or whether they're on a wait list by August 7th. And then we'll pull together all of our families for the online school on August 11th.
And then I see Katrina responded with a little more context also around the criteria. One, it is driven by board policy. It's a lot of, and that preference is given to employees' kids, siblings, and employees' kids and siblings. So if one sibling is admitted to the program, then there's a preference for the that child's siblings.
Yeah, and I know I've seen quite a few comments come in about the enrollment window and that being a short time frame. What we're doing is giving ourselves enough time after that July 31st date to get all of our ducks in the row to start a school by August 31st. So if you think about the numbers coming in, if those numbers do come in and they're a lot larger than we had planned for, we need to give ourselves time as a planning team to meet those needs. And so, you know, if that does include staffing the online school at a higher, you know, bringing in more staff for the online school, that's going to cause some domino effects at our buildings. And so we need to give ourselves enough time to kind of tackle all of those problems after that enrollment window closes, which is why you are seeing a July 31st end date. And we apologize if that does feel like a quick turnaround to make decisions. But again, we have to make sure we have enough time to solve all of the problems and be kind to our building principals if it is the case where we'd have to pull more teachers from our current buildings to staff an online option.
There's a question around the hiring process for teachers and whether teachers will have the necessary online skills for teaching in an online setting. And that is part of the program. It is around professional development and professional learning and making sure that all teachers have the skills that they need in order to design online learning and, of course, navigate online spaces and do really good teaching and learning in the online for the online school.
Yeah, I would say our interview process, part of the questions we ask and part of what we're looking for are those people that can, you know, follow through on some of those best practices online. So those are the questions we are asking and the people that we are looking for. And of course, the people that are interested in this opportunity as well.
All right, let's see. There's a question here around, can you speak to targeted services and intervention?
Yeah, I think that's similar to our plan for students with 504s or IEPs. Once we identify students and their needs, we will work to staff or meet those needs as needed. And so that's part of the partner school piece is if students in the online school receive interventions, we would work with Washburn to make sure those students have those similar interventions in the online setting.
All right. So I am going to just wrap us up by saying thank you for joining us this afternoon. And please do reach out with questions. I believe is this let's see, can we share the link for the form? Do we still have that? Let me find one. I will chat in a link to a Google form where you can add more questions if you have them. And then also you can put your contact information if you want to add that.
And then I would just add that the FAQ, which is listed on our website, is continuing to grow by the day. So you can always go to the website link to view, you know, the questions that are coming in most frequently and our answers to those questions. And Andrew and I are more than happy to chat with you over the phone or via email to see if we can help you. We know that this is a tough decision. We know in general it's a tough time for everybody. I have an incoming first grader, so I'm having to think about the same things of what I would want that's best for her. So we understand everyone has a really hard decision to make, and we do want to support you in making the best decision for your family and for your kiddos. So please do reach out to us or any of the admin from the partner schools. I know that they would be more than happy to chat with you as well. So thank you for coming and learning more about Bloomington Online School, and reach out with whatever you might need.
All right. I'm just going to chat in the form and then we're all set.
I think there's a last question that came in. Will the next FAQ session be the same? And yes, it's just another opportunity for people who weren't able to make it to this one. There may be more information we know by that date. So there could be additional new information based on it just being a week later, and lots of information coming out really quickly day by day here. So there definitely could be additional information. And thank you to Katrina and Megan for monitoring the chat and answering questions. All right, Andrew, we're signing off.
All right. Yep. I just put in that form link. If you do want to submit questions, you can do them there. Otherwise, obviously, follow the additional information to follow on the website. Thank you.
Thank you.